SAGs and peeps. This is Indigo Sage Tarot, and I am here again by popular demand with PiaTalks, and we are going to review what it is we just saw. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion part 3. Pia, come through.
Hi, Sagies. Hi, peeps. I am glad you guys could join us today. So we just watched season 11 and part 3 to the season reunion, which was episode 23, if you're counting. Personally, as I said earlier, I have no idea why we needed 4 parts. Okay, we spent 51 minutes talking about Kyle and Dorit and Crystal, and then we had 7 or 8 minutes of Erica. Why did we have to go through this? I mean, seriously, I am glad that Kathy and Kyle have made up. They tried to make it seem as if their whole riff had something to do with that American Woman, but we all know that that major riff started when allegedly Mauricio quit Kathy's husband's real estate business and allegedly took half the staff with him. That's when
I was gonna say, tell me because I got that written down.
Oh yeah, that's when the rift originally started, and then that American Woman situation. So she did say that her and Kathy, Rick and Mauricio are good again, which I'm glad to see because that had to be a major rift in a family. You don't want to break up sisters and things like that.
Did he take them? Did he take half the staff?
Allegedly, from what everything has been posted out on, different blogs, different media outlets, allegedly when he walked out, he took half the staff with him. And now he has been rated, I believe, the #1 broker in LA. So he is kicking butt, and Mauricio is making that money. Okay, so he's, allegedly he took the staff. But I think he did, in my opinion.
But Rick and Kathy have more money than them, right?
Yes, they have more money than them because, as stated, on tonight's show, Kathy's husband's family started and owned the Hilton hotels. And she said 10 years ago, her husband sold the Hilton hotels. So now they don't have anything to do with the Hilton hotels anymore.
Ooh,
Kathy and her, they don't. But her daughter, Paris, and I believe Nikki, but don't quote me on it, they own hotels now. Plus, Nikki is married into the Rothschild family. I said, oh, that's more money, and more money, okay? But I thought it was an interesting fact tonight that she mentioned that for 9 years, her family lived in the Waldorf Astoria. Because remember, the Hiltons owned the Waldorf Astoria in New York for a while. And I thought I could get used to living at the Waldorf Astoria. Let me tell you, could you imagine that? And being able to have room service for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And the pool and everything else, the spa, the gym. Oh, I could get my life at the Waldorf Astoria.
Yes, I very, very much could imagine that. I really could. Yes. But now that makes sense though, because the very first question I put down was basically like, what's going on? Why they crying over this American Woman movie? Because I didn't watch it. I meant to. Did you watch it?
Kathy didn't watch it either. Okay.
I know. And I was like,
well, was the thing that I thought was weird. I knew I wasn't going to watch it. I mean, as soon as she started talking about it, I said, I'm not going to tune in to the Paramount to watch this. But Kathy was so upset about it because she thought that it was kind of making fun of their mother, but you didn't even watch any of it. She said all she saw was a preview. How are you going to get ticked off and cut your sister off allegedly over a preview?
Exactly. I knew I wasn't going to watch it either, to be honest. However, when I had heard that Kathy was so upset about it, I was like, oh, must be something juicy. I need to see what's going on. And it was still on my list, and it remains on my list. I'm going to take it off after tonight. But
please remove it.
Once I found out that Kathy didn't watch it, I was like, well, girl, what you so mad about?
I'm not about to cut my sister off over a show that I didn't even watch. That's why I don't think that it was 100% based off of that.
Yeah, well, now it makes sense. What you just said with the Mauricio and all of that, that makes sense. It really does. But you know what? You know what the thing is? Another thing I wrote down is that she misses her mom. Kathy misses her
Yeah,
mom. So,
that
like,
made me sad.
me too. Because as we've talked about uh kind of prior to this, my father passed. He was my best friend. I can only imagine, and I have siblings, you know, half siblings and stuff like that,
Right.
but I can only imagine if one of them had the nerve to try to make a movie based on what? Nut, you better
Yo,
not.
daddy.
Yes, no, because I'd have a problem with that too. And I don't know if I'd be able to I'd be upset.
Yeah,
I'd be
you would
upset.
be upset, but wouldn't you watch it just so that
Well,
you
here's
can,
the thing.
so you can come back and say these are my points of why I'm upset?
Well, here's the thing. That's a good question. Me and I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, my youngest brother, we were the closest to him. The rest of his children, my papa was a Rolling Stone. May he rest in peace. He was a
Wherever
Rolling
he lay
Stone.
his hat was his home. Okay,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. Hey, it is what it is now. So if it was my youngest brother, who, because that was his only all he had girls, and
Okay.
he had this one boy,
The
and they
one
were
son,
close. Yeah.
spoiled rotten, I'm sure.
Yes. Love you. Okay. But yes, yes, and yes. And I'm like his oldest child, and so we were the closest to him. And if my younger brother made a movie or whatever about him, then I'd be more open. Actually, he got good sense, and he'd ask me and talk to me and consult with me.
Right. I think that's what Kathy was upset about because she
Exactly.
didn't
The
feel
rest
that
of
she
them,
was consulted by
they
Kyle.
wouldn't.
But
And
I
if they
truly
did that,
think that
they'd be
if
in trouble.
I still think that if Kyle would have talked to her about it, she still would have put the kibosh on it. She is still dealing with her grief, and I think that she will always deal with it because you'll
Yeah.
never get over the loss of your parent. And so I'm just glad that they have decided to let the past go and embrace each other now because Kyle even said it on the couch. Their mom would be so happy to see that all three of her daughters are getting along. And I'm
Yeah,
sure
and
she
that's
would be
true.
devastated
That's
to
very
know that they
true.
were spending all that time apart over something as crazy as a TV show or over allegedly Mauricio, taking half the, staff. So I'm glad to see that they are back together. However, I do not believe that Kyle is as close to Kim as she tried to pretend it on the show. And I don't care what Kathy says. I don't think that Kim is that excited about Kathy being on the show. I mean, as of right now, allegedly, Kim is living in an old townhouse that Kyle owns from back in the 90s. And they showed pictures of it. It's nice, but it's not the Hiltons and it's not Kyle's house now. And I'm pretty sure in my mind, Kim is not happy about both of them being on the show without her because Kim could possibly use that check. I'm just saying, I would be a little
Yeah.
sad too. Like, man,
Well, you
can't you
speaking
do
truth, but
something
she
to
got
get me
her
back
book that's
on?
coming out. Now I'm
But I
gonna buy
heard
it
that her
and read
book
that
has
book.
been I heard that her book has been put on hold.
Yeah, and then I heard that it was unhold.
Oh, really?
It's flip
Because I
flop.
thought that she knew some stuff about Harry, and we were about to find out about
First of all,
situation.
first of all, yes, I heard that too. I cannot wait, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure it is what we already know. What it is, what we think that we know
Well, what
allegedly.
allegedly came out about a week
What
or
he's
so
doing in
ago.
Canada.
Yes,
My
but
only surprise,
I've
huh?
got to read the new book. I have
My,
got to read the new Housewives book, Not All
oh,
Diamonds
that's
and Rose, because there has been a lot of explosions coming out of that book. A lot of true stories, a lot of rumors being told, and I need to read that book from cover to cover.
has there been anything you've heard that you've been surprised
Oh
about?
gosh,
Well,
yes.
surprised because I
I
haven't
was
been surprised.
surprised.
Well,
I
there's
was
one thing. You tell me.
the story about Sonia Morgan, that surprised me. Heather Thomas backs this up. She says that it's true. And then
What is
later
true?
on, page 6 had something today that shows an actual video of Sonia mentioning this. Supposedly, Heather said that Sonia allowed men to put lit cigarettes in her vagina. And there was a video of her
I
and
done
one of
died.
her friends, and her friend, he said that he put a cigarette in her vagina. Now, he didn't say how many or if it was lit or not, but I'm thinking not Sonia Morgan, not that Sonia. But
I'm all kind of
saying that it's a lie, but Page 6 dug up the clip, and I'm gonna send you the clip later.
Oh my God. I did not think you was gonna say nothing like that.
That came out the book, okay? And supposedly there's a whole lot more. I have heard so many things that have come out of that book, and I have blocked out some of it because I'm like, this is gross and weird.
I'm gonna order that book tonight.
I'm
gonna order it on audio or something like that, so they could just.
Yes, and I can jot it down, okay? Because the people need to know, and they shouldn't have to suffer through reading the book. I'm just saying.
I thought I was gonna tell you something, but I don't think I am. But what I was shocked about, what came out of the book, was that Harry had a man and a woman in Canada. Now, see, I'm not surprised about the man. I was surprised about the woman.
I was surprised about the woman too.
Yeah,
I really was.
Well, that was my news.
Girl, listen, what can I say this about Kathy? And then I'm gonna get off Kathy and Kyle. When Andy asked her who the lady was. Now, the thing that I thought was weird about that, now, Sages and Peeps, get in the comments and get me together. But when she was on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy asked her who the lady was and why she referred to her as the lady, she said, "Oh, I referred to her as the lady because I didn't know if she wanted her name on TV." Okay. But then they just showed the clips of her giving you the food on the carts. And I can't remember, did she deliver the food on the carts before or after she called her the lady? Was it before they went on that beautiful wine tour or after? Because if it was after, you could have went ahead and said her name. I don't know. At first, when she gave that reasoning, I was with her for it because I said, that's true. Don't put that woman's name out there if she's not, if she's not ready. But if she was on screen, you could have said her name. You could have said her name if she was on screen. By the way, I did find out. Remember when they went to that wine tasting and they rode the trolley through the different wine? That was so beautiful to me. I found out that is only $120 a person
in California, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would totally do that. I would totally do that. It was so beautiful.
All the time.
Yes, that is a real good girls trip. I'm here for it.
Well, when you visit California,
hey, I got to get out there. Let me tell you, we got to hook up. Another thing I was sad about is Garcelle. Remember when she forgot her sister's name? I was sorry that she done had a falling out with her sister. And Andy said, "You think that was a Floridian slip or I'm saying that's so wrong."
All my sisters and brothers better forgive me.
I have just as many. How do you pronounce that word? Florida. I don't know. Florida.
It's called. They gonna be all right.
It was some kind of slip. I know what it is. All right. I just can't say it right now. Leave me alone.
They gonna be all right.
I hope they make up because sisters are so important. I just don't like to see sisters arguing at all.
I argue with mine. That's why I'm like, ooh, let me be quiet.
Shut up. Y'all got to make up because you got to make up. Okay, so then they moved on to Sutton and Crystal.
Okay, go ahead because I got questions to ask you about Sutton and Crystal. Go ahead.
I just felt that Crystal had some points. She felt violated, and I tried to put myself in her place. If I was naked in my room for whatever reason, I have no idea why she was naked laying around on the phone. But if I was naked in my room on vacation on a girl's trip and somebody walked in on me, I would be quite embarrassed. However, Sutton did knock, but she kind of knocked and went right in. My thing is this: Sutton didn't do it on purpose. She wasn't trying to hurt her. She wasn't trying to, violate her. And Crystal makes this comment that if she had just had a conversation with her, I said, wait a minute, the woman had 32 conversations with you. And no matter what, it still kept snowballing and snowballing because everybody in the group tried to use it as their storyline. And it just kept getting out of hand. So I understand where Crystal was coming from to an extent. And I understand where Sutton was coming from. You guys just kept piling on her let it go. What did she say? Let the mouse go. Like, you're really doing too much. I was very happy to see that her and Crystal have let it go, that they have decided to move forward and stop holding on to this, because it was a lot going on for no reason.
Okay, so there's a couple of things I want to say and a question I want to ask you. Now, what I want to say in response to what you just said about them using that as a storyline and it just kept going on, that is true. And the thing about it is, when they did those clips, when I can't remember whose dinner or lunch it was the one where Erica Jane had said that she rubbed some stuff on her stuff, whatever dinner they were at.
What happened at the dinner?
It was Crystal's with the dumplings, I think. When they had a dinner, then they went outside.
They went outside, yes, and they were arguing there. Gotcha.
And then Sutton,
that's right. She did say
inside.
She had rubbed something there, yeah.
Okay. And Sutton asked Crystal to come inside, and she said, well, I thought this was over. Because remember, Kyle and Dorit had just got done talking about their stuff, and they went on to somebody else's stuff. And, and Dorit had a very different story than Kyle had. So then Kyle went back and told Sutton. Sutton asked to talk to, Crystal alone. And then she said, I thought we decided we were going to end it. We were cool. We were going to end it. Right. And Crystal said, absolutely, yes. And so she said, but you're not, and then, Bravo rolled that beautiful beam footage where it showed
Crystal was going around telling everybody about the situation.
And that's the problem.
And that's how it all started. When her and Sutton had that conversation, she said that they were over it. They were going to move on. But then Crystal went and told the story to everybody. And then after she did that, everybody just kept bringing it up over and over and over again. Yeah. That's the same thing with Erica. Every time you think that Sutton is just going to be in the clear, they're going to move forward, all of a sudden, here goes Dorit or Kyle.
You can't trust Erica.
Absolutely.
But so what I wanted to ask you, there's two questions. So the first question is, what do you feel like could have been done different about the returning of that coat? That would have just one thing that would have.
One thing is she should have paused after she hit that knock. When you knocked on that door, you were supposed to wait for her to tell you to come in. And you learn that as a child. Your parents teach you that as a child. Or you don't walk in if the door is closed, you need to knock. That's just simple manners. And you wait for me to say, come in.
And if you don't, you get your eyes busted and you're still
Absolutely.
learning.
You never know what you're about to walk in on. Can I get a knock and a few seconds wait at least? She knocked and entered.
I know, I was so surprised, but and then Crystal did that would have been the one difference that would have made it all better.
Yeah, me too. Or just left that coat there, honey. She can come back and get her own daggone coat. She don't work here.
I think it kind of was a little bit of kissing booty.
Yeah,
a little bit.
She was.
She didn't have to do that.
She was trying to make up.
Her coat was on the couch or whatever.
She was trying to make up with her from the night before when they had the I don't see color disagreement.
Yeah, she could have left that coat. My second question for you real quick is, so they talk about Sutton and judging Crystal's fashion and everything. I'm just going to ask you this. And I'm going to make it a blanket question. Whose fashion, if you had to choose just one person, whose fashion would you choose? Crystal's fashion or Sutton's fashion?
Oh, girl, please, please. Crystal? Sutton wears all those doilies and everything all over her couture outfits. Her couture outfits are the worst.
Okay, second question. Do you like them leather pants?
I thought I thought those leather pants looks good on Crystal. They would not work for me. I can't wear those pants.
I didn't like them ugly leather pants.
I can't wear those pants.
I love that scene, and I say it with Sutton every time she say it. What am I jealous of? Those ugly leather pants. Those were ugly leather pants.
Nobody. Some of the girls like the pants. Sutton even said, she said, I just didn't like the pants. And it's okay. Everybody doesn't have to like those pants. Listen, I thought the pants were okay, but I'm going to tell you what I've always told the peeps. I have zero fashion sense. I don't know. Zero.
I don't
What
know
I
nobody
did
who likes
want
to
to
the liver pants.
what I did want to say is my heart did go out to Crystal and all of the bullying.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine waking up each day, going to my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook, YouTube, and finding hundreds of people harassing me because of my race. That would crush me from the inside out. And I don't know how I would be able to stand up to that. And she says that this has been going on since the debut of her being on this show. And it's just hard for me to take. It's these internet gangsters that just go way too far. She has every right to be on this show like everyone else, and I really wish her the very best. I do know for some time she has shut down all of her social media because she just needed to get away from all of the hate that she was getting. But I really enjoy Crystal on the show. There are some times that she really ticks me off and I start to rethink it, but then there's other times where she's showing her culture and I am learning from
I
it and
love it.
enjoying
Yeah.
seeing it. And I just hate that people would be rude to her and disrespectful and hurtful like that.
Couple of questions. Okay, so that stood out to me as well. And I wondered a couple of things. First of all, I see obviously she's an Asian American. And then I believe there's an Asian American on Salt Lake City, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she's
So
new. She
I
just
just
started
wonder,
this season.
yeah, and so did Crystal. So I just wonder if she's getting the same thing.
You know what? They should find out about that. She might be.
I
I
wonder.
hope not.
I want, well, of course, yes. I hope not as well, but it pulls me into the wondering why. Because,
Right.
Garcelle last season was the only African American. So I wonder, did she get hate like that as well? You know?
Right.
And then I'm going to say this because I'm just wondering. Um, the Some people give it a joking name, the panorama, what's going on right now
Mm-hmm.
with us. I know that a rise in Asian, um,
Hate.
Asian hate. I hate to say that word. Hate to say hate, but I know that was on a rise because of that,
It
and
was.
I'm wondering if that is the reason why. Which is no, I'm not making any excuses whatsoever. But I'm just trying to um,
Well, I don't know.
see if there's
According
a
to a
pattern, if
lot
there's a
of
reason.
the national news, they were saying that a lot of that had to do with that issue, which is just stupid.
It
You
is
know what I mean? It just
crazy.
doesn't make sense. There is
All
no
racism is
reason to
stupid.
hate. Yes, all racism is absolutely deplorable, but there's no reason to hate these people because of that. You know what I mean?
I
It's
agree.
just racism altogether is very deplorable and stupid and not needed. Um, Especially right now with everything that we're going through, we need a lot more love, a lot more support, a lot more understanding and patience these days.
Yeah.
And that's what I pray for everybody. So I'm wishing the best for Crystal. And it will be interesting to find out if Jenny, the new housewife on Salt Lake City,
That
if she is
okay.
getting the same type of response online.
Yeah.
I know she's getting some responses online due to, her niece coming out and busting her
I
out.
don't watch the show.
But I
No.
don't, but I'm hoping that she's not getting hate. That's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Because
I was
what I
go
had
ahead.
heard about Crystal was everybody was in the beginning they were putting her in there with the mean girls. And so I thought she was getting feedback from looking like a
A
mean
little
girl.
bit of that
I
could
had no
be.
I
A
had no
little bit of
idea.
it could be. But I
I had
think
no,
that she played double dutch with the mean girls. She was in and out, in and out. Sometimes she was jumping in and then other times she was pulling back. So Crystal, that's why I liked her, but I had issues with her at some points because sometimes she was in with the mean clique and
yeah,
then other times she wasn't. So that's why I was on and off with her. I liked her, but then I didn't.
me too.
I'm back to liking her again.
I'm undecided.
Oh gosh, well we'll have next season to figure it out. But one thing that I was happy to find out that Lisa has allegedly shut down the vintage garage. I was happy to see that Andy texted her and told her, girl, get those clothes out that garage. That just did not make sense. Kyle's house was ripped off and robbed, and you out here with your detached garage full of couture designer clothes. Girl, bye. Mm-mm. And even though Garcelle said Dorit was the best dress, I have to agree with that. But I do not believe that she pays full retail price for all those clothes. And the way Andy was looking at her when she said that was if he wanted to say, I know what you make. Like, how are you affording these clothes? I mean, some of those outfits she wears head to toe is about $10,000. Dorit is not paying the full retail price for all those clothes, in my opinion.
They
Not
say
Miss
that
not Miss Italian, not Miss Capri Room at the Buca di Beppo. She is
okay, because I don't know how to say that. Do you remember that woman chased her around the pool?
Yeah.
They ain't got money in the way. First of all, I can say I ain't rich, but ain't nobody ever chased me around no pool for no money. They ain't got money the way that they trying to say that they got money. Okay,
No, because they're always in the press. They are always in the press, and that somebody is suing them or the IRS is looking for them. I'm just saying, the IRS normally doesn't look for you if you are doing the right thing.
Bankruptcy, business bankruptcy. And I'm like, and this was while he was talking about Tom. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know if you're the right one to be talking about Tom, or maybe you are the right one to talk about Tom because you understand.
I don't know.
They got messy.
Bankruptcy for, what did he say, $5 billion?
It was something like that.
That's a whole that is just cover me up, honey. Put me in the pine box. I can't. $5 billion bankruptcy would scare me to death.
Business, not personal. Well, first of all, that's still messed up because you should be out of business. You shouldn't have no business having a business that gotta go $5 billion bankrupt. That's
real business
for me.
Okay.
Your business is $5 billion bankrupt.
Something was going on for sure.
But he made it sound like it was a difference. That was business, not personal. It's still bad.
No, I'm sorry. I don't want my name attached to a business that went under for $5 billion. 50,000 I can handle.
Not personal.
Oh my gosh. I love the montage they did of Kathy. Kathy is everybody's favorite. I don't care what Kyle says, she's jealous. And I will always laugh when I hear the "Who is Hunky Dory?" That will always make me smile and laugh because she was so serious and everybody else was holding their face, trying not to laugh because Sutton was having this big meltdown and she's, "Who is Hunky Dory?"
I would never fit in there because I would have been like, girl. I don't care. I'm just natural. And I would have been like, girl, what? I'm like, Kathy. First of all, I was going to know, was she serious? Because you know they hadn't talked in 20 years or something like that. I'm like, are you serious? And then
I would have had to. Kyle, can you get your sister? Like, serious, she can't mean this.
And then you know what? And if I had a laugh inside of me, I would have laughed. I would have laughed. It's not healthy holding in laughs.
It isn't. And Kathy is always good for a laugh. It does not matter.
You know, they say that's fake, right? Now there's been a lot of reports that say they compare her to her daughter Paris's documentary where I guess her voice is deep. I didn't watch the documentary, but she said that was all fake. Her little high voice of the hot or not, or that's hot. You know,
Paris's voice?
Yeah.
Or Kathy's voice. Okay.
Paris's voice. She, in the Paris documentary, she said that all that high tone was fake. She said all that was fake. And then somebody said her voice sound like this. They said voice. Yes. Now, I didn't watch it. This is just what was said about what she revealed in the documentary. Now, everyone said in the documentary that she revealed that high-pitched voice was fake.
Oh.
Then, after watching this and watching Kathy, they said, we see where Paris gets it from.
Gotcha.
They said Kathy's being fake and she's a very sharp, astute woman, and that's not her. She's doing that for the cameras.
Well, it's a good marketing plan because
It
people
was
loved
funny.
it when Paris did it, and
Oh,
people love it when Kathy's doing it. So I guess it pays to act up. It pays to have a fake voice. Like, Dorit has that fake accent, and she's been doing it for years. I mean, I don't know.
I do
It
not like
sounds fake to
Dorit.
me.
I don't like Dorit.
It
But
sounds fake to me, honey. I don't even know. But this episode just wasn't giving.
no, it
That
wasn't.
last 7 minutes that they got into Erica, and it was so weird because you hear her tell Andy says, we're gonna, move over to you now. And she says, oh, could you go easy on me? And that's when he told her, no, we're gonna crank it up. And she says, I'm ready. But are you really? And can I just say that looking at Erica on this reunion, and then looking at her through the montage of the flashbacks, she looks so different. I am so serious. I kept sitting there staring at her, trying to figure out, is she, Faye Dunaway from Mommy Dearest, or is she Betty Davis from Whatever Happened to Baby Jane? It was such a cross. I didn't know
Double
to
clutch.
say no wire hangers or to start singing, I written a letter to Daddy. Which one? I mean, it was rough to look at.
That's horrible.
What has happened to Erica Girardi?
She's
Erica
both
Jane,
though.
because she is a beautiful woman, but her makeup
She
was
did.
so bad. Somebody said it's because she was trying to act like she couldn't afford her Botox.
I was getting ready to say, well, I think she can't afford the makeup people.
Well, she does have that. She's got the B team, and she used the B team throughout this season. And I just don't think they did a good job. They didn't do a good job.
Especially in that red suit. Oh, it looked so ferocious.
The B team cannot hold a candle to that $40,000 a month glam squad that she had. Those were the experts. But I wouldn't pay anybody $40,000 for a glam. Nope. Just
Let me ask
to Dorit and use her people.
Dorit would say, no, Erica. No, I'm sorry, dear. This is what we're talking about.
Right.
Anyway, I can't stand Dorit, but yes, Erica, at some points when she tried to cry, she did look like that baby Jane. She did.
Oh,
I didn't know what it was. And I'm going to tell you something. I took a still shot and I was going to use it, and it scared me. When I was going through my pictures, I was like, oh, honest to God, I jumped back. It was that last shot of that preview that they let out when she looked at the camera and she's like, that was all baby Jane. And that movie scared me and she scared me.
Yeah. She's doing a lot. She's doing a lot. And I am over her in her little worthless threats that she is keeping score of who's with her and who against her. For what? What exactly are you going to do to these people? Nothing, ma'am. Can you afford to do anything to these people? Like, cut it. You
need to cut it.
Exactly.
So, I have a question about Erica. Now, they brought up when she left right before the big story broke out or whatever. And they were asking, did you leave because you knew that story was coming out?
Yeah.
And she said, no, I didn't. Okay. First of all, I thought that she did leave before this. It just seemed like to me that she knew about some of these stories because they were her actions and her words were coinciding with the stories that were coming out about her husband.
Right.
Okay. How do you feel, or what do you think? Well, how do you feel? I want to know how you feel when she said, no, the reason why I left was because of what happened with Garcelle.
I think that was a lie. I think she used that as an excuse to go, but she was already prepared to go. And her telling Sutton that she didn't leave because of that article, in my opinion, she's absolutely lying. I have seen other celebrities say that when a major publication like that is coming out with a story about you, they do let you know that the story is going to be dropping because they want to know if you would like to give them a statement or comments. And I believe that she absolutely knew that that story was coming out, and she hightailed it out of there and tried to use Garcelle's situation as the reason why she was leaving. And now she's just lying.
Well, then she also was a liar then, because Garcelle hugged her and said, you know, this is not what I meant. I was not trying to hurt you. And she said, I know. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're not okay. So then is that the reason why? I mean,
she that's the same way when she lied to Sutton. She had that fake makeup with Sutton the same way she did with Garcelle. And that's why I appreciated Crystal calling her out. When Crystal says, you know, she said that she does care about the victims. And Crystal says, well, why didn't you say that? And she comes back with that whole thing about she's not allowed to say this and that because of this legal case or whatever. But my thing is this: if you are going through something like this and you realize that there are cancer victims, burn victims, widows, widowers, orphans, these people are struggling not only mentally and physically, financially, and emotionally as well. Why couldn't you and your attorneys sit down with your PR person and carefully craft a statement showing some sympathy for these victims without alleging your own guilt? That could have been done beautifully. And when
yeah,
Kyle brings up the whole thing about her social media, it is as if she is sticking up the middle finger to the people, that to those victims. You do not have to flaunt your riches while showing your backside to everybody. And she tries to say, well, this is how I pay my bills. You can still put your post out there and do it in a nicer way.
I
And
agree.
she's always commenting under other people's posts and telling people off online. You look as if you are portraying yourself as a victim. Just like Andy said, you are not the victim. Now, if she by some reason did not know what was going on with Tom and she truly is a victim, okay, fine, you are a victim, but you are not a victim in the way these people are. These people were done wrong, they were ripped off, and they lost. People have lost their family members. People are dying of cancer. People have gone through multiple burn surgeries and they need more. You are
They
still
need the
living in the lap
money.
of luxury, wearing a Cartier bracelet and flying on somebody's private jet. These people are trying to figure out where their next meal is coming from. How are they going to get electric? Who is going to pay for this water bill? You are not going through the same kind of problem, so you are not the same type of victim.
At all. At all. And that is what hurts. She, being this ice queen character, she needs to stop.
Yeah.
I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I do feel like she has some feelings underneath all of that, but she's gone way over the edge, way too far with this. And then she tries to at times try to make us believe that the reason why she's acting like that is because she's afraid of Tom, but I don't believe that.
No, I think that she has gotten so used to, I mean, did you see the way she spoke to all of them? She was even viperous at Andy. And then at the end, when Crystal said, why aren't you as angry at Tom? Which is a valid question because you have jumped down everybody else's throat. You've really been standing on Sutton's throat this whole time. However, you haven't mentioned how pissed off and angry you are with Tom. Now, where she crossed the line with me is at the end when she got close to close to Crystal, and she said, is that angry enough for you? Now, I'm telling you, I don't condone violence. But honey, listen, my whole palm print would have been across her face before security could get to the stage. Ma'am, get out my face. Like, you have been rude to these people the whole time. And what really pissed me off throughout this whole 59 minutes of nothing was the way Dorit and Kyle tried to backpedal the situation, that dinner with both of their husbands. They both tried to act as if we've always had faith in you. We've always trusted you. What? I need Andy to really take it to Dorit and Kyle. first Kyle for carrying these bones the whole season, and then Kyle and Dorit for being two-faced the entire season. Bring it out, Andy. Quit playing with the both of them.
The entire season. And actually, I don't want Dorit to return. Dorit, and I did a reading on Dorit, and she had, and this was a few months back. She very much has fear of Cynthia, like being treated like Cynthia. And then I had to like go into it, kind of Cynthia from Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I was like, well, what kind of connection y'all got? And then I said, oh, it's because every year when asked about Real Housewives of Atlanta, who can go, every year Cynthia's name comes up.
Right.
And that was the association that Dorit had with not wanting to be compared to or the liking of Cynthia. Well, now we see Cynthia's not coming back,
right?
But Dorit doesn't need to either. Now it makes so much sense. Like Dorit is the Cynthia of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Right. She doesn't need to come. She doesn't have a storyline, and if she's going to continue to attack Garcelle, first of all, I hope Garcelle means it when she said she will never get a chance again to yell at me like that.
Right. I hope so too.
I hope she means it, which I'm a little irritated that she says, she keeps saying things. I was going to say offline. I mean, not in people's face.
Right.
But when Garcelle comes back, and if Dorit comes back, which I hope she doesn't, but I hope, and even with Rinna, I hope that Garcelle, whether she got to drink tequila or not, I hope she gets her chutzpah or whatever in her to just, she don't have to be
more direct.
But yes, be more direct and tell them to knock it off.
There are so many rumors out here right now that supposedly they have already started filming, but in the middle of filming, they're thinking about replacing Dorit. And there's so many rumors that she's either going to be replaced by some billionaire lady.
Oh, I heard that.
Or she's going to be replaced by, what is that lady's name? And I love her. Leah Remedy.
From Anywhere?
Yeah, Leah Remedy. They are saying that she would be a good fit because, of course, she would talk about Scientology. And I used to watch her Scientology show. I loved it.
Okay.
But yeah, Leah Remedy would be a good add to the show because, first of all, she doesn't take crap from anybody. True. And Erica could try that with her, and so could Lisa Rinna, and she would level them instantly.
True, but I don't want to hear just Scientology now.
Oh, I know.
Now you're going to have to have a life somewhere else.
Yeah, well, since she quit Scientology, it is her mission to get their tax exempt taken away.
We all have missions. Look, that could be just a little bit. She can give us a little bit. I don't want to just every time she on the screen, Scientology, look, because I watched her too. I watched her too. So when I got enough, I stopped. I do like her. And it's funny because they're playing a lot of King of Queens
lately,
stuff.
And maybe she hosted Wendy Williams all week last week.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, why are they doing this?
Yeah. Maybe that's where they got the idea to replace Dorit with her, possibly, allegedly.
She would be good if she knows when to pull back on everything that come out her mouth can't be about Scientology.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right.
I'm
sure Bravo would probably.
She's been talking about it for about 10 years?
Yeah.
We got it.
I think since 2013 at least. So yeah.
Almost. So we know no bueno.
Anybody except for Teddy. Anybody but Teddy. They can replace Dorit with Camille and I would be happy. One thing that I thought was weird was when Garcelle asked Erica, she said, "Why did you get all upset at us for not wanting to be grouped?" And, she tried to make it seem like they were never going to be grouped. But I caught an episode of The View, which I don't watch The View all the time, but sometimes if the TV is on that channel, I'll just leave it there. I was watching an episode of The View, and they talked about Erica and her situation. And 3 of the lawyers that were on that day, they all said if they were working Erica's case, those ladies have every right to be worried and to get an attorney, because they would depose every last one of them. And they said we would depose all of them because we want to know everything that they know about her. Everything that she said to them. Have they bought stuff for her? Has she asked them to put stuff in her name? Like, they want to know. And I said, so Sutton asking an attorney, that's the right thing to do, because she could eventually be opposed. And, you know, like she said, she owns a business. She has her own name and brand. She's friends with them Dolce and Gabbana people. They give her them crowns every year for her birthday. She doesn't want to be putting any mess.
I got a little crown.
I would take a couple of them crowns. If they gave me a crown, I'd wear it regularly. Regularly, I'd wear my crown. Oh my God. Listen, I do not have a tiara or a crown. It's imaginary.
I can't even say it all right. Oh Lord. But yes.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, and you know, when you first said grouped, I was like a little confused, but I know what you're talking. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm here, and they did have a right to be concerned. I don't. Oh, and you know what? I wrote her response down. She said, because I remember that bothered me too, and she said, because you can't be fearful of that because you know the truth. That was her response. You can't be fearful of that because you know the truth.
Yeah, I don't think so. The same way when Andy said, do any of you girls think that Erica knew? Then all of a sudden, all the women on the couch said that they don't think she knew. I said, well, what is happening here? Now, all of a sudden, you guys don't think she knew anything? And Garcelle made the comment that things were so good in her life, maybe she didn't want to look and see anything. Maybe she purposely didn't look. And that could be true. That could be true.
I believe that.
Yeah, that could be true.
But I thought it was a lot of nerve when she said you can't be fearful because you know the truth. And nobody said nothing. I'm like, first of all, I wanted to like do a call-in. Didn't he use, I don't know, maybe this is my imagination. Oh, that was on Watch What Happens Live. I was gonna say I wanted to call in and say, are you kidding me?
Yeah, Erica spent most of the time just being more defensive than anything. And that whole comment when she said that the ladies could come to her anytime, I don't believe it, ma'am, because every time they try to ask you one question, you rip their head off. I mean, they act like they're so scared, they're shaking and trembling, they don't want to say anything. So, of course, they're not going to ask you unless they've got armed security.
I wonder why
Crystal knows how to kickbox. Like, why are you scared?
Crystal kicked Sutton. Sutton ain't never been the same since that kick.
Oh. And then, you know, it was funny when this is what really cracked me up. Okay. So she says that I didn't work for Girardi Keys. I don't know what's going on there. And then when Andy said, you know, did you know about Tom's financial issues? And she said, well, you know, and then she said Girardi Keys made a lot of money. And I said, oh, what about the we? You don't work for Girardi Keys. What you mean we? So, Erica, stop it. And then I started thinking to myself, how is it that Bethany knew about Tom's financial problems? She then told Andy, she then told Kyle, and Kyle allegedly went around and told all the rest of the housewives. How does everybody else know Tom has financial problems, but his wife didn't know?
Yeah.
That seems like a well-kept secret that went around town. Like, everybody knew about this particular secret, that Tom didn't have any money and that he was borrowing, you know, kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul. Crazy.
Well, I will say, I don't think she knew the details. Like, I don't think she knew the details, but at the same time, I don't think she wanted to.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think that she would ever know A through Z. But I think she knew maybe a T through Z. I think Erica knew something. She knew that she didn't make $20 million.
Yeah.
And her LLC has $20 million. No, ma'am. Okay. You know that your salary with the Real Housewives is $500,000 or $600,000 a year, and you are paying $40,000 a month for a glam squad. You are out here shopping and using $14,000 a month allegedly on your American Express card. You are doing all of these things. Does your current salary pay all that? Plus the fancy cars and all this other stuff. You have to have looked in your account. There's no way you've got this Pretty Mess LLC account and you've never looked at any of your bank statements? None of them?
Let me ask you this about when she defended her husband. I don't remember. Now it's so jumbled. I don't remember if it was in a preview or it played out in one of the reunions that we've seen.
Too many episodes, right?
But when she talked about her husband, when I think this was on one of the reunions, when Andy asked her and said, when I asked you if your husband read your book, you said no, and you defended him. And then I asked you if he came to your show on Broadway, and you said no, and you defended him, and then she said, yeah, and he was not that far away, and he could have. And
he went to Washington and didn't come to New York.
Yeah.
He went to DC.
And then when Andy asked, why did you do that? She said, well, all of us, every woman here we want our husbands to look good. Is that a thing? I don't know.
I think that I'm not married, but I think if I was married, I would want my husband to have a good reputation. I would want people to think that my husband was a good guy. But if my husband is not a good guy, I don't care what people think about him. Because you know what? As a matter of fact, if my husband is this well hooked up attorney and he's not a good guy, and I'm thinking that I might need to divorce him because he's got these 3 girlfriends on the side, I want everybody to know that he's a piece of shit. Do you hear? Because I need them to testify for me in the court. I want my money, and I need people to know that he's a jerk. But, if I love him and things are well, I definitely want him to have a good reputation, and I definitely want to support him. I'm going to support him when he's wrong and when he's right. But in private, when he's wrong and when he's right. But in private, I'm going to let him have it. If you're wrong, you're wrong. I can't stand behind you if you are doing dirt. And, supposedly Tom had all these extra women. Supposedly he talked down to her on a regular basis.
Well, I do believe
he talked down on her. I think he did talk down on her. Because that first season with her and Tom, it was rough to watch. Because I said, what is she, the trophy wife? Like, you can't talk to me like that. I don't care how much money you have. I appreciate you. But at this point, we do not have a prenup. And I'm going to divorce you, Tom, because you disrespectful. I can't be married to a disrespectful man.
I didn't see that season.
The first season,
right after.
Yes, the very first season, they went out somewhere and he was talking and she tried to butt in a little bit, and he stopped her cold, stared her dead in her eyes and said, I'm talking. Now, honey, let my husband try that. Buddy.
Well, here's the thing. If my husband was, okay, so here's the thing. If my husband was a bad guy, I wouldn't have him on TV.
Oh,
I wouldn't have him on TV. I wouldn't. We don't see everybody's husband.
No.
We barely now seeing Harry.
I mean, every now and again on the Salt Lake City, we see Mary's husband, but she tries her best not to have her husband on the show.
Girl, but you know what? I don't watch that. All I know is that's a grandfather.
Yes, but you think about it. You said if your husband was a bad guy, you wouldn't have him on TV. But look at how many bad housewives we've had, and they're on TV.
That's them.
I mean, they ain't got no business on TV either, especially Jen from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, who allegedly defrauded all those elderly people. And that's about to come on the show here soon.
They said they haven't even talked about it yet. Have they even talked about it?
They showed the first episode. They showed a preview of her getting a call to let her know that the feds was coming. And then they showed the feds showing up looking for her, jumping on the bus that they were on for their group trip. And then it said 3 months earlier. So they took us back 3 months, and now we're going to work our way up to her getting busted and arrested and the rest of the fallout. But, allegedly she defrauded hundreds of elderly people.
They said she was like, because I don't watch them, and everybody's telling me to watch them from the season 1, but they told me that she was like that movie, I Care, on
I don't know
Netflix.
that.
Oh gosh.
I haven't seen that.
Peeps and Sages, when you guys watch this video, please put the name of that movie, because I know I'm getting it wrong, but it's called I Care. It's a Netflix original movie.
Is it about a group of people that are supposed to be caregivers, but they're robbing people or something?
It's about a woman,
okay,
who gets seniors who have a lot of money, and she becomes their power of attorney and puts them in her senior.
And then she kills them.
Well, she just gets their money. Yes, kind of, sort of, yeah.
I think that might be based off of a true story, because there's 2 different senior ladies who I have done some true crime investigating for. One, I actually have a video on my channel for. Her name is Dorothy, and I forget what her last name is. And she lived in San Francisco, and she was getting their power of attorney and all of their social security checks and letting them live in her boarding house, and then she was killing them and burying them in her backyard.
Shut up.
And then there was this other lady, but she had a partner. It was 2 senior citizen old ladies who were finding homeless men, taking care of them long enough for their insurance to mature, and then they were killing them. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up the Netflix movie to find out.
I Care a Lot.
I Care a Lot. I'm like, girl, don't have me up late tonight watching this. Oh my goodness.
This was a good movie.
Does it say a description of what it was? It was based off a true story?
Let me see. I didn't even know. It was a good, I had just heard so much good stuff. And so I watched it. Honey, it starts out saying a shady legal guardian lands in hot water when she tries. It says shady. That's what gets me. A shady legal guardian lands in hot water when she tries to bilk a woman who has ties to a powerful gangster. It doesn't say true or not true. And that's really short. But yeah, she tries to take somebody. She does her regular thing on somebody. Okay. Like she goes after elderly that she has all kinds of elderly in her center, but she goes after the ones who have lots of money. And this one is the wrong one.
I just Googled. It said it's not based on a true story exactly, but it is inspired by some real stories. Gotcha.
Inspired.
Okay, because right when you were reading that, I was thinking there's another elderly person who was killing elderly people in New York, Sante Kimes. I don't know. I'm a true crime person, so
me too. But you know what? We're gonna have to. There's one that I want to team up with you on. Okay. I want to talk about Sweetie Pie's
Tim Norman. Tim Norman. Oh God.
No one really talks about him, and I know that he's in jail and waiting and all this kind of stuff.
There's one channel that I watch that she talks about him, and I love this girl. I love her channel. It's called Chronicle Speaks, and she gives a full breakdown. This girl is fantastic. So she's a bigger YouTuber. She's got like 300 some thousand subs, but she gives a full breakdown, and she will investigate. Sometimes she calls herself Inspector Chronicles. So if you haven't seen her, check her out. Chronicle Speaks.
I think I have. Does she sit in front of like a news desk? Is she the one that got it looking like a news desk?
No, she normally does not show her face, but every now and again she shows her face, and she's drop dead gorgeous. Yeah, I follow her on Instagram too.
Okay. Well, I was thinking about But see, with tarot, and I'm just gonna say this real quick because I know that we've switched, but with tarot, I have to ask the right question. He's not, the case is still pending or whatever.
Right.
So I have to be careful with the question that I ask. So I was just thinking
I did recently hear that Miss Robbie, his mom, she thinks that he's innocent.
See, and I was thinking of asking, basically, how did he feel about his cousin coming on? And that'll just say a lot in itself.
Yeah. I thought that was his nephew.
Yeah, you know what? I did say cousin.
That is so crazy to me. I never did watch Welcome to Sweetie Pies.
I did.
But when the fallout happened and he got arrested, I was interested.
Well,
oh, wow.
His mama had sued him before that because he kept opening up Sweetie Pies under her name without her permission.
Why does that sound like Gladys Knight's son? Remember when he was opening up all those chicken and waffle places using her?
No, I just heard about that. I don't know nothing about that.
I watch too much TV. I really do. And
I heard
way
about,
too much.
I didn't even know when that had reached the tabloids. Whenever I said Gladys Knight sell
chicken and waffles. Supposedly better than Roscoe's. I'm just saying, I've never been to Roscoe's. I don't know.
I don't like those two things, sweet and fried. I don't.
Yeah, I need those separate.
Me too. I was gonna say I'm a weirdo. I guess I want them separate. I don't want them together. Yeah. But I did go. Somebody forced me to go, and I went.
I know I said it before, but I really need for this last part of this reunion, I need them to hold Kyle and Dorit's feet to the fire. The same way we're doing Erica, I need the same thing for them because Kyle and Dorit were so smart-mouthed in their confessionals. However, they are punks in front of Erica.
Two-faced.
You know what? But I did hear that after the reunion was finished, that Kyle and Erica got into a knockdown, drag-out verbal fight over Kyle's behavior this season and not really believing Erica. And I'm wondering, why weren't the Bravo cameras rolling? I need that.
Yeah, me too. We do.
But did you notice Garcelle's face when Kyle and Dorit were trying to backtrack? Garcelle was looking as if, I cannot believe the two of you are trying to act as if you 100% are behind her. That is so crazy. And did you also notice that Erica cut Dorit off, but Dorit didn't have any, she had no energy for Erica. But if Garcelle cuts her off, it's a problem. I'm just saying.
Garcelle's her storyline, so.
I'm just saying, I am absolutely waiting for this season of Beverly Hills final reunion to be over. I'm ready for that to be over so that we can get to this reunion with Potomac because I am ready to see Nicki Minaj give Candace the business. I am here for it.
Okay. Now, speaking of that, I heard that she gives Candace the business. Then I heard, I believe Karen says I remember. I watched Karen on The Real. She said that Nicki Minaj digs into Giselle's ass.
Oh, I would like that too. I'm not against it.
Wouldn't we all? Then today, I heard that there's a rumor, which I didn't hear this at all. And the person who was reporting it said they didn't hear it at all, but they were reporting it. So I'm not going to report where I heard it from because I still haven't heard it. But they said that after the cameras was rolling, since Nicki Minaj got so much into Candace, that it was a brawl after the cameras stopped rolling, that it continued.
Oh, wow.
I
did hear somewhere. I'm going to have to look into it because somebody did say that Candace admitted that Nicki Minaj did go in on her, but I didn't hear the whole story. So I'll have to look into it. Yeah. Not physically, just verbally. I don't want them to get to physical. I really
Yeah.
don't. I don't like the whole physical violence. Otherwise, I would start covering love and hip hop. But I can't stomach love and hip hop. I have
What's wrong with
outgrown that.
them?
But I'm almost outgrowing these housewives too. I
They
don't
better
know.
do something. A change got to come in the morning. I think that's a Christian song, a gospel song. Change will
Yes.
come in the morning.
Well,
Every time I go to
that
sleep,
too.
I
And
want
then
a
wasn't
change to
there
come in the
a
morning.
Sam Cooke song about a change is gonna come or something? I don't know. Um,
Um,
this was okay, but it wasn't the best. Peeps, get down in the comments and let us know what your best part, what your get down in the comments and let us know what your best moment of this reunion was. What was most interesting to you, and who do you think was telling the truth, and who do you think was lying?
owl. Same thing, Sagies. So and first of all, my Sagies, if you are watching this, thank you so much, because I know you guys are so used to the tarot, which I'm still doing tarot. But also, let me know how you feel about these Beverly Hills housewives, and hopefully we can review the Potomac reunion together as well. So
Oh.
drop down in those comments and let us know how you feel, what you think. And
Thank
with
you,
that,
peeps. Thank you, Sagies. I appreciate all of you. To the peeps, I appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much for watching our lives and being so supportive of us working together. And as I always say, until next time, bye.
bye.